the royal Egyptian ritual that shocked historians, deep beneath the golden sands of Egypt. Archaeologists uncovered a secret so disturbing that it rewrote history books forever. What they found challenged everything we thought we knew about ancient Egyptian pharaohs and their mysterious rituals. This is the story of the most shocking royal ceremony ever discovered. For over a century, historians believed they understood ancient Egyptian burial practices. The famous opening of the mouth ceremony was thought to be a simple ritual performed on mummies to restore their senses in the afterlife. But in 2019, everything changed when Dr. Sarah Mitchell's team made a discovery that would horrify and fascinate the world. Hidden in a secret chamber within Pharaoh Amenhotep III's tomb, they found hieroglyphic texts describing a version of this ritual that had never been seen before. This wasn't performed on the dead. It was conducted on living pharaohs during their coronation. And what it involved was beyond anyone's imagination. According to these ancient texts, future pharaohs underwent a terrifying ordeal that involved actual death and resurrection. Yes, you heard that correctly. The ancient Egyptians were literally killing their future rulers and bringing them back to life as part of their coronation ceremony. The process was meticulously documented in the hieroglyphs. First, the pharaoh-elect would be given a carefully prepared mixture of herbs and minerals, including extracts from the deadly nightshade and the psychoactive blue lotus flower. This cocktail was designed to slow the heart rate to almost nothing, creating a death-like state that could last for hours. Dr. Mitchell describes the moment of discovery. When we first translated these texts, we thought we had made an error. The Egyptians were describing medical procedures that seemed impossible for 3,000 years ago. They were performing controlled clinical death on their most important leaders. But the most shocking part wasn't the near-death experience itself, it was how precisely the ancient Egyptians could control it. The hieroglyphs describe monitoring techniques that rival modern medical equipment. Priests would check pulse points, observe skin color changes, and monitor breathing patterns with scientific precision. They had developed specific revival protocols that included chest compressions, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and the administration of stimulant compounds. These weren't primitive rituals. They were sophisticated medical procedures performed by highly trained physician priests who understood human anatomy better than we ever imagined. The purpose of this terrifying ritual was both spiritual and political. During the death-like state, the future pharaoh's soul was believed to travel to the underworld, where they would meet Osiris, the god of the dead. This divine encounter would grant them the legitimacy to rule as a living god on earth. But there was a darker psychological purpose. A pharaoh who had literally died and returned to life would command absolute fear and reverence from their subjects. They weren't just claiming to be divine, they had conquered death itself. Historical records suddenly make chilling sense in light of this discovery. Several pharaohs were documented as having coronation ceremonies that lasted for days, during which they remained hidden from public view. When they finally emerged, witnesses described them as having an otherworldly presence and claiming to have spoken directly with the gods. The risks were enormous and often fatal. Evidence suggests that many pharaoh-elects didn't survive the procedure. Hidden chambers in royal tombs contain remains of individuals who appear to have died during the ritual. This explains why Egyptian dynasties sometimes had sudden, unexplained changes in succession. One of the most disturbing discoveries was a detailed account carved into the tomb wall describing a failed ritual. The text describes how Prince Kamwaset, son of Ramesses II, underwent the ceremony but never awakened. The priests waited for 3 days, performing increasingly desperate revival attempts, before finally accepting that their future pharaoh was truly dead. What makes this discovery even more shocking is how closely these ancient accounts match modern near-death experiences. The hieroglyphic descriptions include journeys through tunnels of light, encounters with deceased relatives, and communication with divine beings, elements that are identical to contemporary near-death experience reports. Dr. James Harrison, a neurologist who studied the Egyptian texts, believes this proves that ancient Egyptians had somehow discovered that controlled oxygen deprivation to the brain could produce consistent mystical experiences. They had essentially created a reproducible method for generating what we now call near-death experiences, he explains. The medical knowledge required to do this safely was extraordinary. The implications are staggering. This wasn't just a culture obsessed with death and the afterlife. They were conducting sophisticated medical experiments on their future rulers. The pharaohs weren't just claiming divine status through religious ceremony. They were using advanced medical procedures to create genuine mystical experiences that would fundamentally alter their consciousness. Perhaps most shocking of all is evidence that this practice spread beyond Egypt. Similar rituals have been found in ancient Tibetan monasteries, Mayan temples, and Greek mystery schools. This suggests that controlled near-death experiences as political and spiritual initiation may have been widespread in the ancient world. The discovery has also revealed why Egyptian pharaohs were so effective as leaders. Having genuinely experienced death and resurrection, they possessed an unshakable confidence and an otherworldly presence that made their divine claims believable to their subjects. Modern researchers have attempted to recreate the herbal mixtures described in the hieroglyphs, though obviously without testing them on humans. Chemical analysis shows that the ancient Egyptians had created compounds that could indeed slow metabolic processes to near-death levels while maintaining the possibility of revival. The precision required for this procedure explains why Egyptian medical papyri are so detailed, and why their physicians were renowned throughout the ancient world. They weren't just treating common ailments, they were regularly performing procedures that required the highest levels of medical skill and knowledge. This discovery has forced historians to completely reconsider ancient Egyptian civilization. What we once dismissed as primitive superstition was actually sophisticated medical science combined with advanced psychological manipulation. The pharaohs weren't just claiming to be gods through this terrifying ritual. They had literally touched the realm of the divine and returned to rule with absolute authority. Today, as archaeologists continue to uncover more evidence of this shocking practice, one thing is clear. The ancient Egyptians possessed medical knowledge and procedures that we're only now beginning to understand. Their pharaohs didn't just inherit their divine status. They earned it through the ultimate test of death and resurrection. This is the royal Egyptian ritual that shocked historians and continues to challenge everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. The pharaohs of Egypt weren't just rulers. They were survivors of the ultimate medical experiment, living gods who had conquered death itself.